I haven't changed the batteries in my scales. I'm that person.
Yeah, my kitchen scales went flat today.
Yeah.
So I'm not tracking, right? But I just, by habit, put shit on the scale.
Yeah.
Because I know I have 50 grams of cereal, so I just do it.
Yep.
And this morning it went flat, and I was like, okay, we're not replacing it.
Now we just have to eyeball it.
Correct. So if the scale is not an all-time low next week, you know why?
I don't know why I'm not losing weight. I've done everything the same.
Yeah, maybe portion sizes.
Yeah.
Oh, fancy countdown timer. Look at us go.
Yeah, we're really going places.
Yeah.
2023.
The evolution.
Countdown timer.
The evolution of the podcast is we've introduced a $10 countdown timer that doesn't
just makes me think we're going to do
up.
an eating competition. You know, they have the little countdown timer, like see how much they can how quickly can I inhale like 10,000 calories?
Yeah.
Which is actually, I watched like 3 eating challenges last night before bed.
You love it, hey?
Oh, mate,
Love
it's
it.
just like, I think partly because like I'm a fucking pig myself.
Yeah.
And I just like look at
I
it.
could do that.
Yeah, kind of sometimes, but then it's like once they get to like there's like 2 kilos of chips, I'm like, nah, it's a no for me.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't be able to eat that much. Like
fried. Once you introduce the fried food, it's over for me.
Yeah. But I just find it incredible. They eat all this food and then they're just like, do you have anything for dessert? Like, it's like, how do you eat that food? Like, your brain mustn't connect with your stomach.
Yeah.
You know, mustn't just be like, oh, this guy's full, you can just keep eating.
Do you reckon they purge?
Apparently they train a lot before the day, so they will eat like, you know, salad basically, like 1 or 2 salads a day leading up to the food challenge.
Yeah.
So yeah, like, and they will obviously like work out. Like one of them like does like marathon runs and shit.
Yeah.
So maybe they're just ready to go.
Nothing.
Know how to stretch their stomach and stuff, like with the water and whatnot.
I don't know if we said it on the podcast last week, but nothing spikes my hunger like running.
Yeah, the 10 minutes of running, which is really only like 4 minutes for me, makes me really hungry. But it does actually true. I've been telling a lot of because I got a lot of, it's off season for the for a lot of the bodybuilders. So a lot of the boys and girls are trying to grow. And I've been saying like, make sure you keep a degree of cardio in the training plan.
Yeah.
I've been putting it in, and they're like, oh, why? You know, and I was like, really does kind of keep the digestive system kind of ticking over and really does help like with the hunger regulation, like just making sure you don't get the other side of hunger, which is like, you know, not hungry.
Yeah. And the fatigue of the diet.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And then it's just, you know, makes it really hard to kind of put on size when you're just force feeding and shit. So yeah, I agree. It's very, very helpful.
So tell us your computer story. What happened? We've been delayed.
Fuck.
We've delayed the storytelling.
So I wanted to get a computer, as Tam knows, and yeah, I'll make decent money, but I'm tight ass. Right? It's fucking simple.
Yeah.
You know, everyone like, oh, yeah, Joe's got nice shit. It's like, yeah, well, sometimes I do because I don't fucking spend money on anything.
Yeah.
And I eat food that I don't want to, even if I don't like it. So anyway, I wanted to buy this computer. I was going to buy a pre-built one. And then my mate was like, don't do that because you can get a way better computer if you buy the parts. And they said, I'll build it for you. So I was like, okay, sweet. So I got a list of all this shit and I bought everything. And it was pretty expensive, but I thought if I buy the parts for the same amount as what it was going to cost me to build, and then someone builds it,
right,
sweet. So then I just see how much it is to get it built by the place after I've bought all the shit.
Oh no!
I was like, ooh, hang on a minute, what's going on here? So then I was like, all right, fuck it, I'm just going to get someone else to do it because if I get it done, sweet. So then it was like $200 to get it built. Yeah. Because of some fancy shit, I don't know. So if you buy a normal computer with normal parts, it's cheaper. But if you buy a computer with more expensive components, it's more expensive to build. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, so here's another $200. And then when I took it there, the guy was like, so you're missing stuff.
Oh, no.
It's like, we need a hard drive, obviously. And then you also need an operating system. I was like, fuck's sake. I was like, all right, so what's this going to sting me? It ended up being like, I think all up, I had to like put another $550 into it. Yeah. So this thing's coming out at like, you know, surely it can give me like a back massage or make me a latte or something at the end of it. So yeah, it cost me an absolute fortune. So I'm hoping I'm going to be the best goddamn content creator / video gamer ever. Yeah.
You should be able to do all the video editing now.
Yeah. I'm actually pretty excited. Yesterday, I was like ready to leave the call I don't know if you were like jerrying on Standout. I was like, my camera was dropping in and out, not me turning it off. It's just my computer was just shitting itself.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just like, oh, you don't have a camera now. Oh, yes, you do. Oh, you don't. Oh, yes, you do. Oh, you don't. I was like, I'm going to throw this fucking laptop
actually,
at the wall.
my Logi does that a bit too. It's very sensitive.
Yeah, I think I'm 100%. I'm certain that it's my computer though.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I'm starting to like just have things, they're just like, we don't know what this is anymore. Like my fucking Yeti microphone.
Too old. Check out.
Yeah, it's like we can't make this work. Yeah, I was like, fucking hell. So now it's like my light was flickering.
Yeah.
And my camera was dropping in and out. I'm just like, can I smash this laptop?
Yeah.
Or no, I probably can't.
Yeah, mine started doing the hard revs.
Yeah. No, it probably just needs a clean.
After Standout, when it has to render the video.
Yeah.
The recording, it's
yeah.
She's working.
It might have a bit of dust in there.
I hope so. Yeah.
Because when the PlayStation sounds like it's ready to take off, it's like an airplane in a fucking airport on the landing strip.
Just needs clean.
Yeah, it's like
I've got the cleaner there and stuff, so I'll have to pull it back.
Compressed air.
Yeah, I don't even know. I assume the back just comes off an all-in-one.
Maybe it's got clips, so be careful.
You guys get a new one.
Well, I took the bottom off my laptop.
Business expense, it's fine.
My laptop has like waves in it because I didn't realize there were like these mini screws. So I popped these clips off and then it wouldn't come off and I was fucking roosting it. And then, now I've bent like the aluminium bottom. So just from someone who has no experience in taking electronics apart, I suggest you don't do that.
Yeah. The PC is good. It just has a big glass door. You just... off you go.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm excited for when it comes. So... Hello and welcome to the STCfit Learning Podcast. I'll be your host today. My name is Jason Galea and I'll be joined by Ben Scott. Thanks for joining us on our way to creating 1 million positive outcomes in personal training by 2030. The podcast is brought to you by STCfit Learning's Coaches Collective, a premium business mentoring service for PTs who want to attract the clients they want, earn a higher income, and have a long, sustainable fitness career. If you enjoy the episode, please like, share, and subscribe on YouTube and your favorite podcasting platform. A 5-star review goes a long way to helping us reach more people just like you. Hope you enjoy the episode.
All right. You ready?
Sure.
We're going to enter a minefield. Tam, can you please bring up, have you seen the video of the girl in the gym filming herself train, aka filming the guy behind her looking at her train, and heard all the backlash?
Oh, nah.
It's a big thing last week. So basically...
I think I heard it on a podcast, but like they didn't actually go into it.
Yeah, so essentially looks like fairly new, based on the weight that she's lifting. She's pretty new to the gym. Like she's hip thrusting like the 5s and the 15s.
Yeah.
In the middle of the gym with a microphone attached to her crop.
Okay.
Obviously a camera or a phone set up somewhere. And there's a jacked guy in the background training.
Yeah.
And he kind of like... He was training someone who was just looking at it. Really? Different one. Yeah, not the one where she takes off her jumper. Yeah, I've seen that one as well.
Oh,
she
yeah.
just fucking goes in.
I've seen that one. Yeah.
Yeah,
no,
it's like someone moved, I would look too.
Yeah.
Anyway, she's like going to fucking town on this guy. Like, it's fucking disgusting.
So what?
Feral,
He just
feral.
He just turned around and looked at it.
Or he looks at her like she puts up this counter maybe like 4 times. So then like she's got heaps of pushback, right?
Oh, as in a counter of how many times he's looking?
Yeah.
Okay. Is she doing it wrong?
No, but she's in the middle of the gym with a camera and a microphone and she's talking to herself.
Oh, yeah.
So well, that's I'm going to look anyway. And even if I wasn't looking, I think, and this is the conversation I want to have, and obviously it's a minefield, and I did want to have it when Jess was here, but that's probably next week. So
yeah,
okay. Hoping to have a female voice, but maybe we'll bring it up again next week. Just
like
when you're in the gym, you look at everyone all the time.
100%.
Anyway. So it's like I watched True Geordie did a video on it, and the Flagrant guys did a video on it. True Geordie was like fucking aggressive about it, just like basically just calling this girl a piece of shit, like looking at what feral meant and being like, so this chick's sitting in the middle of the gym assaulting this guy but he's done nothing. All he's done is kind of like half side-eyed to see what you're doing.
Yep.
So then, it's at one point he comes over. She's trying to get the 15 kilo plates on the bar. So he goes to help.
Yeah.
And she's like, just jumps down his throat. Like, no, I've got it. And he's like, okay. Like, and I know it's interesting because I know we obviously have conversations about the frustration that you experience being a large dude and people being like, oh, Jason's scary or you're intimidating
Beard,
or
shaved
whatever.
head.
And it's like, if I was this guy who was, it's hard from the camera angle, but he looks like 6'2" and like 110. Like he's a monster.
Yeah.
And it's like, he's probably just like, hey, like I'm not
Probably
scary.
just wants to help.
Yeah.
He probably just loves working out.
Yeah. So it's just weird. Did you find the video? Yes.
Yeah, show me. I need to see.
See if you can turn the volume up and put it into the mic.
I'll put it on the...
Oh, Tam's going to insert it. Look at that. We really are going Rogan style.
This is how to not approach girls at the gym.
I hate this. I hate when there's sweaters.
Yeah.
Makes me so uncomfortable.
What?
Feral,
She's counting that as a look.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Half a slight glance.
my
Now
God.
we're zooming in on him. He's just leaning on a bench and just half looked at her.
Okay. Well,
Of course, she's trying to change the weight. He comes over. She thinks she's hesitating because he's standing there. He's actually just like there to help.
You don't have to do that. It's okay. No, it's okay. I got it. Thank you, though.
And then, so pause that.
uh,
Just hold the screen.
yeah.
Oh, too late.
I'm sorry.
Basically, it says...
I don't know how to do that.
It says something along the lines of basically ripping his dick off and making him infertile. That's what that last screen is.
You know, when you explained it to me, that is not what I thought would happen. That is like fucking nothing, bro. This is why I don't want kids. Natural selection. Better take the weirdos out. He's going to jail for staring at an underage 21-year-old. What the hell is happening here? Oh, what if I just ripped his pee-pee out of his socket so he could never reproduce again? Wow.
So and now read the last line again.
He's going to jail for staring at an underage 21-year-old?
Doesn't even make sense.
How can you be underage? She's 21.
Yeah. So this is obviously just like... So the flagrant guys, Mark on there put forward a good point. It's just like, his theory was obviously something bad has happened to her at some stage for her to respond like this.
100%.
So...
sorry, highly likely.
That's let's say that's a consideration.
Yeah.
And like, they sort of had a back and forth on that podcast too, of like, one guy was like, you just don't try and hit on anyone in the gym or try and talk to anyone else in the gym ever, like, period. And then
Oh, really?
Schultze was sort of like, yeah, but
that's where you're on that camp. You're like, I don't want to talk to anyone in the gym.
Well, I just hate everyone, so it's different. It's different.
Where I'm like, who can I talk to? So they think I'm a fucking creep, basically.
Yeah, basically. So yeah, like Schultze was sort of like, but if that's your thing, so if you spend as much time in the gym as like a personal trainer or people we train, top 3 priorities in their life, you don't go out partying, you don't go out drinking, you don't do all these other things.
Yeah.
The gym is probably where you're going to meet someone.
Where you socialise.
Yeah, so this is obviously, taking a step back, I don't think that's what was happening in the video. I don't think at all he was trying to like start a way in with this chick. Like, I don't...
It doesn't really look that big of a deal.
Yeah,
so a lot of glancing stares, like not even like it's not like what's the meme where is it like that Jason dude and he's just like, you know, like it's not like he was just fucking staring at her, like just standing there, like
So it's an interesting
pretty wild
thing, and obviously because I watched Flagrant with Amy, we went down a big rabbit hole discussing the whole ins and outs of it. And as for hearing Amy's perspective as someone who doesn't feel comfortable in the gym anyway, it was cool to kind of be able to bounce off that and like, what does it feel like and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So something she brought up was like, or that we ended up getting to was like, the weights room, we were so happy and encouraged women to leave the cardio room so much out into the weights room.
Yeah.
The weights room still in most gyms dominated by men. And it's probably what I started to put together is like it's probably the most masculine environment that women are put in.
What about a pub?
Yeah.
It's pretty masculine.
Similar, but you're not.
I agree.
It would be frowned upon to express aggression in a pub. It happens, but it's not encouraged.
When you say express aggression, what do you mean by that?
So if you get on a leg press and a rep in 300 kilos, you're going to pull some faces, probably make some noises, etc.
You know, it's so funny. I was leaving the gym and I was like, the gym is the only place where I get to do that.
Yeah.
And I fucking love it.
Exactly.
I was like, there's no other place. Like, there's no other place where I get to just like fucking just grit my teeth and just like do like, you know, act and say and do shit that I'm just like, all right. Like, now I'm okay.
Yeah. So
isn't that fucking funny?
We have this, because Amy brings it up.
So basically that's just terrifying every single person.
Amy brings it up often when we sort of go into this conversation. If we use you as an example, that's stuck in my head and stuck in her head as well. So I did pinches with you years ago. Like, I reckon I was still living in Taylor's Lake, so like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And Amy got her pinch test done as well. And it was just like, you did mine. It was just like, take your shirt off, grab, do whatever. Here's your numbers, fuck off.
Yeah, you're fat.
I was lean then, fuck you.
Okay.
And then like, you turned to Amy and just like, everything changed. Posture, stance, tone, energy, everything just went, okay, just come over and stand here if you can lift your top up. And just like the way you communicated just fucking turned on its head.
Yeah.
So it was like that expression in that thing is like, you're in the gym doing measurements, that's your thing. And I've told the story on the podcast before how I scared the shit out of the French dude because I thought I was just in Australia because I was in the gym.
Hey.
Yeah, g'day, mate. And
Yeah.
he fucking shit himself. So it's interesting, yeah, that I guess like expression of masculinity, let's call it. It's not toxic. Calm down. Just that expression of that masculinity in that environment with women there is a weird thing that I don't think we're used to.
A lot of people fucked it up for everyone though. Like, you train a lot of female clients.
That's
like,
the
I don't
hard
know how
part.
many times like they're like, oh, this guy came up to me and said like I shouldn't be doing this and shouldn't be doing that and just hassles the fuck out of me and blah blah blah.
That's the
And it's
hard
like,
part, isn't it?
you guys are just fucking killing it for everyone, man. Like, you know, there's a time and a place and it's probably not the time. It could be the place, just not that time while they're working out. And what you're saying is just fucking stupid anyway.
Yeah, that's the hard part, isn't it? Because it's like, even the one where the one you were saying where she takes her top off to reveal a crop top. Not like takes her top off. And the PT just sort of kind of half looks.
Yeah.
And she fucking blows up. It's like she's obviously experienced that before. Like, even like the fucking don't lift weights, you look like a man. Like, or you're getting a bit bulky. Like, all that shit. Like, getting exposed to that must be just fucking so frustrating. So you'd always just be in like fight mode.
Yeah.
So
I want to say
you interpret like this guy that's honestly like, I would look at every person in the gym.
Yeah.
If I go and train, I would look at every person in the gym as
100%.
often as that guy looked at that girl.
100%. I just look at people and when they train, like I just look at how they move and shit.
Yeah.
Giving a few people some advice every now and then. Just like, hey, it's just, but it's like not from like a creep. But the thing is, some other fucking loser has done it.
Yeah.
And ruins it for everybody else.
Yeah.
You know, and then you've got people that have probably had issues or just have issues in general. And then it's just like the fuse is really short.
Yeah.
So it's like it's something as simple as like just
you're looking
glancing.
for it anyway, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, look, let's be honest, like, I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, you're wearing fucking shorts that I can see your ass cheeks. You're wearing a crop top that's just sitting under your fucking boobs.
Yeah.
And you're gallivanting around the fucking gym in these bright ass colors and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you fucking expecting?
Yeah.
You know, at some time, like, that's fucking provocative, man.
That's what we were talking about too, is like, my wife sort of said, like, you should be able to wear whatever you want.
I agree.
That's correct. But unfortunately, that's going to come with an outcome.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, and it's not like we start to go down this weird like victim blame sexual assault thing. Like, oh, she wore a short skirt doesn't mean you could rape her. Like, we're not saying that. Like,
Wow, how'd we get there?
but that's the culture at the moment. It's just like,
okay.
well, I can, like, even like there's a movement now that I think they're trying to unblock the censorship around the nipple on Instagram, because you should be able to post that and not get unwarranted attention.
Yeah, okay. Wait. Oh, yeah, all right.
So it gets...
So you can't post something with a nipple on it now?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. Is that even for a man?
No.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we can do it. It's all good.
Correct. Yeah.
Is it wild how that's the case?
It is a bit weird.
When you think about it, it's like we just both bare our chests, like a female and a male, and you're just like, oh, no, you can't. You can.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Correct.
Oh, yeah. Just don't put the circles on. Just don't put the nipples on. It's like, we know what this is, guys.
Yeah, because it gets into that kind of conversation. Like, even like the scrunch butt thing. It's like it's deliberately designed to draw attention to that area.
Yeah.
So it's a weird... You should be able to wear everything you want, but there's a high chance that other people are going to look. And then there's also just like you said, I watch everyone train because I like training. And I will look at it, because there's a weird thing too when you're invested in training, that you look at someone and go, that's a very impressive physique.
Yeah.
And I'm very
100%.
impressed by the way you look.
Yeah.
And it's 0% sexual.
Yeah, 100%.
0%.
Yeah, I agree. Language, and because of our level of exposure, we talk in a totally different way.
Yeah.
Like even like you can say, oh, you have, you like, I think I said that someone the other day. I'm like, oh, your physique's really impressive, especially for someone at your age.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like I'm sitting there going like, whoa, look at this shoulder, and fucking drooling out of my mouth and shit.
Yeah.
They're trying to get someone's number and stuff.
Yeah.
And even like how we just like, I've people have noted in the past that I could come across as offensive because I'm just like, oh, this person's a little bit fat.
Yeah.
But it's like if you get put around that space of bodybuilding and stuff, it's just like fat is fat.
Yeah.
Like you're just fat.
Yeah.
You're fatter than you need to be.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, okay, cool. We just
I've actually experienced that over Christmas as well.
You just got to get less fat.
Yeah. I had to watch. It was like referring to my past self as the fat powerlifter.
Yeah.
And then like had like noticeable discomfort from friends.
It's such a
word
like, that people really...
That's not...
Yeah.
Because I wasn't comparatively to general public.
Yeah.
But to me, I was like...
Yeah.
I think of that as just like, that's as big as I ever want to get, and I hate it. But to them, it's like, you weren't that big.
Yeah. Yeah.
So don't shit on it.
You say like I say like, oh, I'm too fat.
Yeah.
And people are like, no, you're not. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, for me, I am.
Too
for
fat.
my standards,
yeah, too fat. Or I need to be less fat. Or like if someone's like, oh, can you like rate where I'm at in terms of my physique? I'm like, oh, look, probably a little too fat at the moment.
Yeah.
And they're just like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what am I supposed to say? You're holding too much body fat and we need to reduce it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So I think like language can be really hard when you have someone who's spent all of this time in this realm where it's just normal. Yeah. And then you speak to somebody who's not. Yeah. And then they're just like, fuck, this dude, like complimenting my physique and shit. Like, does he fucking, like, is he trying to creep on me and stuff? It's like, no, I'm just actually legitimately impressed in like a physique like this and how strong you are.
That's it. It's like the hot girl, quotation marks for the ear people, walks in with the good physique in the not much clothing. And it's like, I wonder how she trains. So you keep an eye on them training, and it's not...
Especially
if they
don't move well. I'm like, I sit there and I'm like, fuck, imagine if she moved well. Like, she'd be even better.
More often than not. And I said I don't even know how to explain it, because it's like I'm not into like genetic coding science, genetics fascinates me. Just like, how did you do that? Yeah. Like, how did this all fucking happen? That's fascinating to me. So then it's like, cool. So there's the girl in the booty shorts and the crop top squatting, whether it's huge weight or not much weight. I'm interested in seeing what's happening. Yeah. I'm not watching her ass while she squats, which I understand why she would feel that I am, but I'm not. So it's it's a weird sort of line to walk, because the flip side of that is like, I would watch a guy as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course.
Like I'll watch you train. I'll watch,
Thanks, Ben.
and then we'll hold hands in a golf cart. But that's different. But it's like
Watching me train isn't that spectacular.
no, the old cable dumbbells, cable curls looked pretty nice the other day. Yeah, so it's an interesting.
So she got, and then she had to post like an essay to Twitter.
Yeah,
Saying
an apology. Yeah.
Yes, but I also referred to my experience of sexual.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that guy didn't have to be the victim,
and he was filmed without knowing.
Yeah, that guy didn't have to be like his behavior in that
shown.
situation was not out of the ordinary and not considered unacceptable. So just like it's awful that someone's had to experience whatever that person's experienced and she's got issues because of it. But this dude doesn't have to be like hung out to dry because he kind of just glanced over and like saw someone who like probably needed a little bit of help or could have used the help that he offered, tried to put a weight on the bar. Like, and then all of a sudden he's like, this guy's a creep and he needs to have his dick pulled off or something. It's like, come on, man. Like,
Look, I understand the trauma side, and it was pretty. Just the reaction of like you're sitting there just like repeating like feral. It's like no, that's not.
That's probably why like those gyms that are gender exclusive probably still need to exist.
Yeah.
So that people feel like they have a safe space. But I still have my own thoughts about them as well because there's no place where like just men are allowed to go. So.
Well, apparently there is out
in Sydney. just fight each other when there's women around, and then they just ban the women from the gym. But like, think about it. Like, there's no place. Like, what if?
No, I agree.
What if there's a place where people wanted to express their masculinity or whatever the fuck you want to call it? Just get after it, grunt, throw some weight around, do whatever. And what if there was a space where people could do that and feel comfortable with it and not get judged by anybody at the time and leave the gym and then go along their day? Whatever,
I feel like there's gyms that have that culture, but it's not a written rule.
No, because there's still going to be other people in there that go,
it's just like you won't come back.
Yeah. Either that or they're just going to be, fucking terrified or judgmental when those people walk in, though. Like, you can breed a culture of, like, whatever you want to call it, a bunch of, like, masculine people trying to get after their training or whatever.
Yeah.
But there's still going to be a mix. And there's still going to be people that are just like, they're the guys that do this.
Yeah.
Where if you had all of those people that, I'm going to argue that they're probably just fucking train hard and really like to train.
Yeah.
They're not going to go in and go, this guy is the one that does the the yelling and the screaming and stuff, because you're all going to train.
Do it, yeah.
You're all going to train hard.
Yeah.
I just sometimes I'm just like, it's a bit unfair to sit there and be like, we don't have a space for us to do that, so we have to do it in the gym. And then it becomes terrifying for other people. It's like, if you're scared of why the way other people are training and behaving and stuff, like, take yourself to a safe place.
Yeah.
Because we're not allowed to take ourselves to a safe place.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I think that the whole point of this conversation, like I said at the start, is like there's landmines everywhere that you could be triggered by any of this. The only reason I thought it was worth bringing up is just like how multi-layered and how many views you can have of this one topic. Like, I've been in the gym with Anthony, like pro raw prep, 400 or 380 kilos on the bar, fucking some Norse metal music that's not even fucking English, rattling the rafters, 4 spotters, 5 spotters, 2 on each side, 1 behind, all of them screaming and him screaming. It's like, you walk into that gym.
Yeah, it's horrifying.
And you're like coming from Fernwood. It's like, I'm just going to head out the other way.
Yeah.
So I think there's
other people that gravitate to that.
And
like, this is the place where I want to train.
And that's the crazy thing about it is I've been in the gym when that's happened, and there've been women in the gym. And after that set, when the chaos calms down, everyone's super friendly. And like, hey, how you going? Do you need a spot? Do you need whatever? It's like,
in most cases, the biggest, most standoffish looking dude in the gym's probably the nicest person.
Yeah.
Because they like to train
That's
the most.
definitely the case with Cruiser.
Yeah. They like to train the most.
Yeah.
And they probably like to help people the most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they love it.
Yeah, they probably just have social anxiety, so that's why they have resting bitch face.
Most of the time. Yeah.
So everyone, go and talk to Ben at the gym. Makes me feel better. It's just a socially anxious dude.
Yeah, I'll just give you really short answers. Okay, I think we navigated that okay. All right, so we put it out to the Standout PT crew and we thought we'd do a Q&A episode after all that and provide some value maybe. We're just talking around in circles.
Well, we're half an hour in.
Yeah. Ready to go?
Lots of banter.
Yeah, banter,
That was
topics.
That was pretty
I'll
constructive.
actually put it out
That
to
was constructive,
both males and females who have been on either side or either camp or have a different view of as to what we have or think that there's something that we need to know about that we didn't cover or any other. If you've been the guy who's been like genuinely trying to help and been fucking abused, or you've been the girl, like don't DM us if
I've been
you're the
abused
girl
if
that's
I
been
help.
hassled.
I've been abused when I help the guys. It's like, hey, bro. He's like, oh, you PTs think you know everything. I'm like, oh, well, you know, get paid to do this. So, yeah. It's like 4 years at university would make you think that.
Yeah. And the way you move some weeks
Yeah,
you don't.
yeah. It's like, I'm just trying to get you some help, bro. Like, fuck. Cool, man. Hey, enjoy the shoulder surgery.
Yeah.
No problems.
I think my DMs would be too full if we say, like, women who've experienced bad experiences with them.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's just
No,
so
well, like I
many,
said,
and we understand
so many losers that have fucked this up for other people. So I totally agree with that.
Yeah, for sure. What's up, guys? You're listening to the STCfit Learning Podcast, brought to you by ourselves. Feel free to go check out our website, so stcfitlearning.com. On there, we have a bunch of free resources, including how to niche your business, how to actually sell during consults, and a free programming template, plus our business scorecard, which you can go and take and see how you stack up in the industry based on what we think is elite and how to become the best trainer in your gym, in your town, and in the industry. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you take a screenshot and tag us, we really, really appreciate it. It really helps get this message out to help improve our industry and keep people in their personal training careers. Enjoy the app. Okay. I'll go with your one first. For Jason, how do you go about looking at someone's physique and looking where they need to work for exercise selection and rep schemes, etc.?
So picking the exercise first to balance the physique out and then selecting the exercise and then selecting the rep scheme?
Yeah, so I guess
Chain of events.
Yeah, the main question would be
How to balance the physique out? Or
the way I read it was like, how do you look at someone and know what to do?
Yeah. Yeah, look, it's I feel like you have to immerse yourself in the bodybuilding community to get a bit of an idea of like what physiques look like. You know, like what, because there's many different physiques, you know, when you think about it. Like you're put together the way you're put together, I'm put the way I'm put together. So when you sit there and go, what should a physique look like that's going to be really hard to do. Yeah, what is it? What's that picture? It's like the perfect portions of a man. You know, that. Yeah. So we're not going to get that. You know what I mean? It's like as much as you are, like you might be someone who has that and, you know, screw you.
Yeah.
But
Fuck you.
most other people aren't going to have that. So you got to kind of have a look at all the physiques and, you know, then you go, okay, so what's this person? I think where I look at things first is like, what are they strong in? Like, where's, like, what really kind of, you know, speaks out to me? What really kind of draws my attention when I look at the physique? And it's like, okay, so this person has big quads. This person has a massive chest. So then you go, okay, well, what's really glaring that doesn't really kind of balance out? And then it's like, okay, well, you know, maybe their shoulders are too small or maybe their hamstrings aren't developed in relation to their quads. So I'm really kind of look at things from like a...
Jace is eyeballing me up and down, guys. I feel very intimidated.
Yeah, front to back kind of thing.
Talking about Jace being scary. Fucking hell.
So it's a front to back, side to side kind of thing. So it's like, you know, do the biceps and the triceps kind of balance out? Are your arms around about the size of your calves? Is your chest and your back kind of, do they balance out in terms of thickness on either side? And then like how wide are we across the back? And I think once you kind of get a bit of an idea of like physiques, and most of the time, like if someone is getting critiqued to that level, like they're probably doing bodybuilding, they probably have to fit into a criteria within the categories that they're in, like physique, for your open bodybuilding, whatever. So then you're like, okay, well, this look is what we need to kind of work towards. So then it's like if you've highlighted somebody's strengths, so with their programming, you would just want to do like a minimum effective amount on those strengths to start with.
Yep.
So it's like this is, you know, say, you know, whatever, chest and quads. So you're like, okay, cool. So what's the minimum amount of work I can do on those things to maintain that And then it's like, all right, well, what are the things that are, next in line in terms of strengths? And it's like, okay, shoulders are kind of okay, arms are kind of good. And it's like, all right, so give them a little bit more work, but not too much. And then it's like, okay, so the rest of the time, it's like, all right, well, hamstrings, back, calves, whatever. Like that's going to take up more of the total working volume for that particular person. So that's going to take the emphasis for that particular block. And then you're just working out like what's the best way to train that muscle for that particular person.
Yep.
So back muscles, obviously, like, you've got to assess the whole back. There's lots of muscles within that. And then you're just like, okay, well, what's the most effective way to bring up, whether it's the thickness of the back or the width, what exercises are going to develop the lats, what exercises are going to be more for rhomboids and traps, for that overall kind of thickness, rear delts and stuff.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of what formulates your program. And in terms of the design of the program, like obviously the most anabolic movements are done at the start of the session. So my advice would be, pick the places that person needs to, they're the focal points of the workout, and put them at the start of the workout and try and lift as much load as you can, in terms of like rep ranges and stuff like that. Like, it's just, the thing with rep ranges is like there's lots of different ways to build a physique.
Yeah.
Research suggests that we can build reps, muscle from 5 to 30 or whatever, probably more, probably less in terms of reps. So there's lots of different ways to do it.
Yeah. I think I'm settling in on that particular topic, just of like different personalities, or maybe it's a genetic thing. I don't know if it's just personality or if it's actually a genetic thing, but people have preferred rep ranges that they're willing to go to a closer proximity to failure.
Oh, 100%.
And I think learning what that is about the individual is where you get the best results.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Because you can have, if you dive into some areas of hypertrophy and fatigue, because really, like, to get the most out of a physique, like, you're trading off like components, like those fundamental components of hypertrophy, and how fatigue acts on all of those things that you're trying to drive. So like performance, total training volume, showing up the next day recovery wise. So when you start to go into rep ranges, like you can really start to get like hyper focused on like a particular rep range, because you're like, oh, okay, so if we go above like 10 reps, like there's too much, metabolite accumulation that, creates elements of fatigue that, take longer to recover, and all in all, like that's going to make that person perform worse and, take longer to recover for their next session. So it's going to make them less efficient, and they're likely to have less of an anabolic stimulus over time. So then you can get caught up in this, like, you only need to do like 6 to 10 reps.
Yeah.
Like everything you do, 6 to 10 reps.
Mm-hmm.
But if you get an individual that goes, I feel like I get more out of 10, 12, 15 rep sets.
Yeah.
And I would argue that there are exercises that are better done with the rep range higher and the load lighter.
Yeah, that's the interesting trade-off. So if I use us as an example, I would suggest over not maybe in a session, but over a week and over a block, I would be more comfortable sitting 6 to 8 reps for most exercises continuously, and I would enjoy that discomfort more than you would.
For particular movements,
but if we were going to do 10 to 12, same thing, sweet for a session, but after that I'd just be like, this discomfort I like less than that discomfort.
Yeah.
But then, like you said, you've got like leg extensions, lateral raises, arms, like that kind of shit. It's like, we're not doing 6s. Like for lateral raises.
People are going to argue that like you can, but I think like there's this trade-off of like, load and performance. And when we talk about performance for building a physique, it's about how you execute the rep, how you centralize the tension and the target muscle and stuff. And I think that like once you start to bring the intensity up and the rep range down, you're going into a space where you're really trying to, it's just like whatever's involved in like taking the arm out to the side is just doing the movement.
Yeah.
It's just, it's performing things from A to B almost, like, or moving more towards like movement centric stuff, not to muscle centric. So I think there's instances where like higher rep ranges are better to centralize work and, kind of get after it that way. But like I said, when you go balls deep in like this fatigue kind of considerations, it's like you start to work out that those higher rep sets are more fatiguing. And then it's like, okay, well, then that means lower rep sets are better. But I don't always think that that's the case.
For volume accumulation, yeah. I think it's really individual.
Yeah. And then you've got, there's, I guess, gender differences in terms of like, hormone composition and how they can respond to, certain training environments. Women typically, can withstand higher rep kind of training environments with lower amounts of rest. They have the actual hormonal makeup to make them resistant to things like muscle damage, and they have the actual circulation to promote recovery and get after things a little bit quicker than males, for an example. So to go and say like, this is how you do it.
Yeah.
And then you got to think like muscle fiber composition, which you're not going to know unless you get a biopsy on every muscle.
Yeah.
Probably even every kind of division of the muscle as well. Like, let's be honest. But it's like, who's going to do that? But you kind of get a really good idea. It's just like, does this person have really good top end strength?
Yeah.
Does it fall off dramatically when they add 10% load?
Yeah.
Then it's like, when you reduce 5 to 10% load, does it drop off dramatically the performance? It's like, okay, well, that person's like heavily fast twitch and like doesn't have a lot of slow twitch fibers. Can this person do both? Sweet. They've got a good composition of like fast, slow, and those hybrid ones that are more adaptive to the environment that you expose them to. And then you got somebody who's just like not strong at all. Yeah. And it's like, you've tried to build strength. They just don't have it. They're not explosive. They're not strong. Yeah. But they probably can withstand a lot of work. It's like, unfortunately, those people are going to be the worst bodybuilders. Yeah. So I'm just going to throw it out there. Like, not going to be great, but you're going to be better than you were. Yeah. And it's like, okay, cool. So maybe they're better responsive to like higher training loads, but higher training volumes. But even then, it's like, so much to standardizing the answer.
The only other thing I would add to that is like the psychological element. Like beyond that, it's just like people will get the best results in the areas that they enjoy the most. Generally, that's also the place that they get the best results, like from a physical standpoint. But yeah, from my experience, it's like if I have someone comes, while I was running this morning, because I'm learning to actually think about shit when I run. I was obviously just thinking about content and like what you want to push the boundaries on a statement, but not be wrong. That's what content creation is about. Yep. Once you cross into wrong, like,
you just look stupid.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So it was just like 90% of the women that I work with come to me with the intent of wanting to be stronger. Yeah. So when they approach a compound lift that's heavy, they push. And I think if I gave them a program that didn't have that, they wouldn't push as much. And like you look at their accessories and stuff, and it's like, that's not... You're overshooting your rep and reserve on your main lifts and undershooting them on your accessory work. Yeah. So to say like all women should focus on strength because all of the physical outcomes that I've seen that are the greatest change in the shortest period of time have come from that. It actually, I think, comes from the psychological focus on, I want to squat a lot of weight. I want to deadlift a lot of weight. So then that's the focus of their training, which creates a different outcome to if, like, I'm just going in wanting to build a physique as the outcome, so they train a little bit differently because they perceive, like, 10s are going to be what builds their muscle or whatever. Yeah,
and they're just going to respond to what they haven't done as well. So if they come to see you and you're like, okay, well, let's like, if you gender stereotype both male and female biologically on how they train, it's like females train high rep, not a lot of weight, do too much cardio, right? So usually when you want to build a physique, for them, you want to do the opposite. It's like lower your training volume, lift heavier loads, do less cardio, none, and you're good. Males, lift heavy weights, test their 1RM way too often. Yeah. Don't typically do a high training volume because they lift heavy weight. Don't do any cardio. Yeah. So then it's like, okay, we'll keep some of the heavy lifting, increase the training volume, do a little bit of cardio, and that they're going to respond favorably to that. Yeah. So it's also like working with that person and what they've what they've done in the
training
past.
history and
And
stuff.
yeah, because it's like if they've come to you, like it obviously hasn't worked.
Yeah.
So it's like if you always do what you always done, you always get what you always got.
Yeah.
So then then we're going into that whole like it's very specific.
Novel stimulus. Yeah.
Yeah, but
that's
I think like the person who asked this question, like if they just like wanted to know when you look at a physique, like what to work on, it's like glaring strengths are going to be the first thing. It's like things that pop out. It's like, okay, so I've got to balance that. What's usually like when we look at a physique, it's like there's an opposite muscle group. There's an opposing muscle group to that muscle.
Yeah.
Big quads, you need big hamstrings. It's like big biceps, you need big triceps. It's like if you've got a big chest, like do you have a big back? Like how wide's the person's shoulders? Like if they've got a narrow kind of clavicle length, it's like they're going to need more, wider delts to make themselves look broader.
Yeah.
If they've got wider clavicles, they don't need as big as shoulders, but they're going to need a big fucking chest because that shit's going to stretch out. Yeah. And it's like same with their back. It's like, is it paper thin? Is it thick?
Yeah.
How wide are their lats? I think you can kind of get a bit of an idea doing that.
Yeah.
And immersing yourself in the bodybuilding community gives you that, kind of eyes. Yeah.
So before we keep going, I just want to give you guys a little message about our Standout PT program. So Standout PT has been designed for personal trainers who want to sustain a long-term career in fitness, but right now they're sick of chasing clients, they're not making enough time for money, and they're super frustrated with the results that they're getting in their business, and they can't see themselves being here in 3 to 5 years' time. If you want to know more about the Standout PT program, head to STCfitLearning.com, head to programs, and all the details are there, and you can book in your free exploration call where we can have a look and see whether or not that would actually be a suitable program for where your business is at right now. And back to the episode. So same person, but question for me. Cycling, someone's training post powerlifting meet, so how the next block of training looks, etc. So
Cycling training.
Yeah. So post powerlifting competition. I thought it was one of those.
One
of those questions.
Second question, right? We're
One
talking
of
about
those
cycles.
We didn't actually get any of those.
Oh,
questions.
really?
Yeah.
I think we've deflected
Beat it
them.
out of the boys.
We've deflected it enough.
Yeah.
It's like fucking hell.
Next time Bronze is in Australia, we'll get him on. So, not to oversimplify this, because Jace has just given such a very deep, insightful answer to his, but do all the shit that you haven't done.
So you've done the powerlifting meet?
Yeah.
And then,
now we've got to write
the
a
next
program
phase of
post that.
training.
Yeah. So do all the movement patterns that you haven't done for the last 6 to 12 weeks. So obviously if you're programming well, you probably got movement variability decreasing the closer you get into the meet because you don't have the ability to distribute that volume because you're focused on rising intensities and specificity of the lifts and exercise selection to perform on the platform. So when you come off the platform, it's like, what have I not done for an extended period of time? And what hurts?
Yeah.
Usually,
I think if you work out the trade-off of the specificity that you're working with.
Yeah.
So it's like to squat, bench, and deadlift.
Yeah.
And like you said, over that really like last period, it's like, what's the trade-off of that?
Yeah. So it's like your hip extension probably sucks. Your shoulder externally rotation probably sucks.
Yeah.
You haven't reached for anything.
Yeah.
Your overhead strength
work capacity
sucks.
is going to be
your work capacity
absolutely
is putrid.
shot. Yeah.
Your repeat effort sucks.
Yeah.
So it's like how fast, and this is, I've played with lots of different variations of this. Sometimes I've just gone, here's 2 giant sets, a workout 4 times a week. Don't vomit.
Yeah.
That's your RPE, is don't vomit.
Yeah.
And it's like, and that'll mean the first week your kettlebell squats will be like 12 kilos and you want to die. And then it's just like you catch up as your conditioning improves, you actually start to get a training stimulus out of the program. Before that, you're just limited by your work capacity. So that's one way to do it. The other way to do it is a little bit more nuanced and just like, cool, we're going to gradually increase like your output to, I guess, cope with all of that, introduce some cardio, introduce like some structured like reaching and hip extension drills and all of that kind of stuff within the program.
Yeah.
Maybe some overhead pressing, etc. that you're starting to think about and pulling too, because usually you'll take like the vertical element out later into the program, like you don't pull ups or shoulder press or anything like that anymore.
What about do you go down the tiers in the regression model for the main lifts?
Yeah, so our programming model, obviously we have think it's 4. So you would go peak into strength, into hybrid, into hypertrophy. There's probably another one you could put in there, which would be like a recovery block.
Yeah.
Which would just be like,
it's like a movement.
not throw the rules out, but just like do whatever almost. I think one thing with powerlifters is like a lot of powerlifting coaches who have been around for a long time talk about this. It's like that burnout that comes with competing over an extended period of time and it being the only thing that you do. And I've done that and never had an issue of like being sick of it until I was sick of it.
Yeah.
And it's like, would I have continued to powerlift longer if I'd have done other stuff along the way? Probably not, to be honest, because I only stopped because lifestyle changed. So that's a consideration as well. But what I think can be really important in that phase is doing stuff that's fun.
Yeah.
Because your motivation to train is probably going to be at its absolute lowest.
Yeah.
Because you've been hyper-focused on a very specific outcome on a very specific day, and then that day's done. Same as bodybuilding. It's like, now what? Like, I have the reason isn't big enough to get up and go to the gym. So building stuff that's fun for the client. So asking them, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
Do you want to run? Do you want to do cardio? Do you want to do circuits? Do you want to bodybuild? Do you want to train arms? Like how do you want to do this for the next kind of 6 weeks before we even think about anything else?
Yeah. I think what's next is important too because it changes the decision making.
Yeah.
Like
timeline wise.
Yeah. Like I just help a guy with his nutrition for his powerlifting. Mm-hmm. But it's like every time he finishes a meet, there's another one.
Yeah.
Like if it doesn't matter if it's 4 months, 6 months, 8 months, but there's another one.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well when you have that periodization of what's happening leading up to that, let me know and I'll, start to block the nutrition out and stuff like that. Where like if you have someone who's just doing, I just want to do powerlifting, but then doesn't know what's next.
Yeah.
It's like that becomes hard because you do this like phase afterwards, which is just to like recorrect all of the things that have happened over that prep.
Yeah.
But it's like, what's after that?
Yeah.
That's when it can start to become challenging. But if you get that whole like, what do you enjoy? Dive into like what the next goal is and stuff. Like, that decision making is easier.
Yeah.
I also think people overcomplicate periodization. I don't actually think it's that hard. Like think about it. When you were younger, I don't know about you, but I thought like periodization was this big thing, and it's not. I think it's planning the next move essentially.
Yeah.
I know people like phase potentiation, like so they want. Phase potentiation sounds cool, right?
Yeah.
So it's, what am I going to do to set myself up for the next thing? And then when I do that, it's got to set myself up for the next thing.
Yeah.
So people will put phase potentiation on a pedestal and then you get in your head like, what am I missing?
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people think, what am I missing? And they're probably doing all of the right things.
Yeah.
Because if you just go, what does this person need to achieve? When do they need to achieve it? What are the steps involved in, training? What's training going to look like over that period of time? There's your phase potentiation.
Yeah, I think periodization is important for a specific outcome strength goal because it's management. All it is in that scenario is management of
fatigue,
volume, movement, variability, and intensity.
Well,
they're the three things that you're trying to manage.
Which is managing fatigue and performance though.
Correct, yeah.
That's what all periodization really is if you think about it. Like it's not the thing with periodization is it's not a fun, it's a concept.
Yeah.
Right? So a concept is expressed many different ways.
Yeah.
So if you fall into that trap of thinking that you're doing something that you're not, that's when you always ask yourself that question of like, what am I not doing?
Yeah.
When if you look at what periodization is as an expression, which is management fatigue and increase in performance. Yeah. You're talking about those steps as the increase in performance.
Correct.
And then you're talking about the variables that you use as the management of fatigue.
Yeah.
But you don't want to fall into that. All I'm saying is you don't want to fall into that trap of thinking like, I'm not periodizing the way that I think I should.
Yeah.
Because then you start to ask, like, because I'm very confident whoever asked that question knows that answer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just want confirmation about it.
Well, either that or maybe they just want like an insight into like how your mind works or whatever. Yeah. But there's probably some people though who go, I don't back myself.
Yeah, look, the fucked up thing is in the powerlifting world, a lot of people don't.
Yeah, okay.
They just put their fucking 3RM back on the bar.
Yeah, I guess
And start fucking again.
Oh, well, how's that guy? Like, tested his 1RM the next week or something that we're talking about?
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy, actually.
Yeah, so that does happen a lot in the powerlifting space. So
but
do
you think they're coaches?
I know coaches that do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well then, you know what, guys? Fuck me. I'll just totally delete the last 5 minutes, man.
So yeah, I think what I was sort of getting at and the way I approach things at the moment is I work with people who like powerlifting, but I wouldn't I have to be careful how I word this. It's not that I wouldn't call them powerlifters.
Offend all your clients.
Yeah, it's just like
They powerlifters or they strength athletes?
they're strength athletes.
Yeah.
So they want to look strong, they want to be strong, they want to enjoy their life, they want a balanced lifestyle, they want to look good with not much clothing on. Like, there's all of these other things that's important to them. It's not just like, I don't give a fuck what happens,
they don't
just
want to
make me PB.
squat, bench, and deadlift. They want to be able to, they want to feel strong in other elements too.
Yeah, and they haven't put that as part of their identity. So that probably skews my periodization model because that's who I work with.
Yeah.
So my approach more recently is what is the minimum amount of time I can apply to the competition lifts that will acquire the skill needed on the day to be exceptionally technically proficient and express all the potential strength they have.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking at. So it's like, is that 6 weeks?
Is that for your non-competitive clients?
No, even the ones that compete. So it's like, I've got girls now that are like...
Yep.
So we spoke about last episode, like I got one of my clients who's got a wedding 2 days after a meet.
Yeah, it's wild.
It's like, how long can I keep volume and movement variability into your training before I have to switch to specificity? How long can I keep that? Now I've got other people that it's just like, the best way for you to get stronger is build more muscle. And that's correct for fucking outside your first year of training, almost every powerlifter. If you build more muscle, you'll be stronger next time you compete. Or if you don't get hurt, what's the best way to not get hurt? Have movement variability and manage intensity and volume and fatigue.
Yeah.
So that's, I guess, how I look at it at the moment. And then if I'm coming out of a meet, it's like, well, I want to get as far away from that as possible because I can switch that back on quite quickly. It's really interesting.
It depends on the time frame, right?
Yeah, because I was like...
It's like the gap between drinks.
I was like, I said to you a few weeks ago in the gym, I'm like, I'm so fucking anxious that I'm going to step on the platform and make a fucking fool of myself.
Yeah.
Because it's been like 18 months since I touched a barbell.
Yeah.
And like I posted a lift yesterday with a little like, yes, like a little fist bump because it was like, I was only 180. Like it's not, pulled 260 in the garage before, guys. Like I'm not like getting excited over the number. It felt comfortable. It moved the way it was supposed to move. And I felt like that is how I deadlift.
Yeah.
And I fixed all the shit, the clunky shit that I had for the last 3 weeks. And I was like, okay, here we go. And that was, I'm 12 weeks out. So it's like now I can practice that thing for the next 12 weeks and like know that I've got it. But I did it for 7 years.
You're 12 weeks out?
Yeah.
Is that the weekend we were doing the golf and that? Or was that the week after?
Yeah, so a week after. Start practicing.
I got 12 weeks. I got 13 weeks.
Drive that handicap up for STCfit.
I was supposed to be getting shredded.
Oh, true. The photo shoot on Friday. Yeah, no pressure. Stop eating. You're fat.
What a wake-up call.
So that is, again, like that's the element I'm sort of taking. It was like, and even for me, it's like how much movement variability can I keep in to continue to improve my running, to improve my golf, to lose a little bit of body fat, improve my aesthetics. Like how long can I keep doing that and still perform in a way that I'm not embarrassed of myself on the platform as well?
Yeah.
So that kind of went in a big thing, but to simplify what to do, what I would do post competition, lots of movement variability, assess the movement patterns that you haven't done for an extended period of time and bring them back in, improve conditioning, and then ask them what would be the most fun.
How do you express that in something that's enjoyable, for the person?
Yeah.
2 questions. Oof.
What's up, guys? Another quick break. I just wanted to jump in and remind you guys about the STCfit Learning Mentorship. Now, our mentorship's been running since about 2016, where we've developed trainers through their first year of business in personal training and allowed them to leapfrog the first 5 years of mistakes that we made. if you're currently studying, looking to finish in the next month or so, or you're looking for someone to help you out with mentoring and all that kind of stuff, jump on, have a look at the details for the mentorship at stcfitlearning.com. Head to programs and mentorship, and all the details are there. And you can come and be an STC Fit coach for an entire year. Includes all of our education and direct mentoring from our head coaches. Back to the episode. Why do you hate going above 5 reps on SBD? This is from a podcast a little while ago, I think, where I sort of put that forwards. So
Is this you said it?
yeah. So I actually needed to complete the sentence. When I said it, I had a person in mind, and I didn't complete the sentence, and I need to. So if you intend on competing in powerlifting, would be my caveat to that. The reason why is what we just talked about. There's a large skill element to the squat, bench, deadlift. And I think the strategies that you employ to complete a set of 8 competition-style squats are not conducive to performing a 1RM squat well. So I would use, if I wanted to train volume, I would use a variant of that is going to be more conducive to encouraging better technique when I go below 5. For example, pausing you in the bottom of your squat is going to force you to be tight in that position and drive out. Whereas when you're trying to do an 8, you're probably actually trying to survive the 8 reps, you're reducing the amount of rigidity that you're producing so that you can do the 8 reps most efficiently and move the most weight for 8.
Yeah.
Not be inefficient and strong. When you want to maximize your lift, you actually want to be really fucking inefficient.
Yeah.
You want to use the most amount of muscle mass with the most amount of force, the most amount of rigidity possible in a 1 rep max. In an 8, a 10, a 12, you're not doing that. You're doing what you can to survive the set. And I think that is what breaks down. So if someone wanted to compete in a 1RM, I would suggest doing a progression-regression model, a regression of that exercise in some way, shape, or form that's going to make them better. And then when they go in to transfer that skill into the squat, it's not transferring the skill of an 8 into a 3. It's transferring being really tight in the hole in a pause into a 3RM squat.
Yeah, okay.
I thought about that a lot after the podcast because I didn't get it right.
I think because the powerlifting, because SB, like a powerlift is task orientated, and there's like they need to complete the task. Being good at the task is important, and the more reps you do, the likelihood of you going away from what that task should look like is greater. Because the more reps you do and the more tired you get, the shitter you'll do the task. You know, the likelihood of you performing the task starts to slip away from you.
Yeah, and then if we specify the task as being as rigid as possible, which is what the lens I look through for powerlifting, it's like being as rigid as possible while still being able to achieve the required range of motion.
Yeah, and then I guess that this then starts to become very specific to the person, because if you're not good at the squat, doing more of them, people will argue doing more of them will make you better, right? But if you do, like, doing 8 bad squats isn't going to make you better at squatting.
Correct.
Right? If we look at like skill acquisition and stuff, like time is a huge component of that. Like, perception of effort is obviously like a huge one as well. So maybe picking variations of training that aren't higher in rep, but do demand certain portions of this lift that person needs to get better in is a better option. But then there's going to be people out there that are good squatters. Yeah. And it's like the first squat and the 8th squat look exactly the same. Maybe that person has gone past that, like the proficiency is here. It's like, okay, well, going over 5s might be okay for them.
I haven't seen even the top powerlift, because when you get that good, you're probably too strong.
Yeah.
So you can't. It's not about if it looks right. It's about how much. If we come back to that rigidity, how much rigidity can you create throughout that? Yeah. Can you do 8 singles in a row? And I would argue no.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then if you're not good at squatting, you should squat more. So yes, but what are you not good at? Train that.
Yeah, I understand.
Not squatting. Train. I have poor torso control.
So like Yuri Belkin wouldn't squat 8s ever.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. Just curious.
Yeah, if I was programming for him, he wouldn't.
Yeah.
Give us a call, you.
Yeah.
I'll learn Russian. It's fine.
Yeah. If I think if you categorize the lifts from outside of a powerlifting perspective, the only one for me that doesn't really kind of require a lot of reps is the deadlift.
Yeah.
Sorry, not need, but I think once you start to go higher on the rep range, it takes a certain type of person to perform that lift. And it's like when you start adding in extended periods of time with higher levels of effort, it's like, what's the trade-off there? Like, this person, doing a bad rep on a deadlift is, can fuck a lot of people up. Yeah, that's it. The consequence is high. You're just trading off consequences, really.
Yeah.
Or cost and benefit.
Yeah.
And I think once you go beyond a certain rep range or just even a certain duration in the set, it's like at what benefit or what cost is that benefit?
So that's a good explanation. And then I think that's how most people look at this stuff. And shout out to Jackson for asking the question, because I know that he would probably look at this as well, because it's a traditional way to look at it. It's like, if you do a bad rep of a deadlift, then that's going to cause more problems. So let's not do 8s, because the likelihood of you doing 8 good reps is low.
Yeah.
So let's not do that. That's true. What I'm talking about is a layer deeper, where I can watch you do 8 good reps, but the way you've done it, the way you created the 8 reps, isn't the same.
Yeah.
So you're not training the same. It's a pattern, and it's a triple extension or whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Okay.
So if we're doing the same thing that looks the same, doesn't necessarily mean we're doing it correctly. So, for example, I can give one of my clients who I'm working with at the moment, we're working on not retracting her shoulder blades during a deadlift.
Good move.
I can give her 8s and she can hold that position. Look at it technique-wise, reference lines. It's like, this is perfect. Nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. 3, fuck.
Yeah.
Everything fell apart.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, instead of her doing 8s, why would I not just give her, if I wanted to train volume, why would I not give her paused either safety bar or regular or blocks or something where it's like, blocks is a great example. So you're going to lift a heavy ass weight. If you retract shoulder blade, it's not going to fucking hold it.
Yeah. So
you're going to fuck that up every single time. So you have to perform the task of the positioning, the rigidity, the brace, and the movement, rather than just the movement at a lighter weight.
Yep.
If that makes sense.
It's not the same, basically.
Correct. Yes. How do you guys refresh your mind after some bad check-ins, quotation marks, and not let the frustration carry on to the view of your future check-ins? Like go for a walk. So if you have a client that pisses you off, what do you do?
I don't really get
the following check-ins.
I don't really get that emotionally invested in that process. Like, it's not that I don't care. I've spent a lot of time trying to emotionally disconnect from my job in general. Trying not to take it personally.
Yeah.
Understand that you've got a role, they have a role, and both have responsibilities, and try your best to kind of meet those. And if there's a disconnect, trying your best to kind of bring, the focus back in and bring the walls back in so everyone's really clear on what to do. And I think after that, it's a new week and a new opportunity for that person to recorrect the things that you're probably upset about. It's also a good opportunity for you to maybe look at things and recorrect whatever you need to do. Yeah. So I think that, you're just taking it week at a time from that perspective.
Yeah, so I think when I first read it, I was like, oh, you mean like someone checks in week 10 and you hate them, and then week 11, how do you bring it back? But it looks like you just he means like working through a day. So like your 10th check-in is annoying. So then your 11th check-in for that day, you have to like take a break first.
Oh, really? Oh, no,
yeah, so
it's emotionally disconnecting.
I think he's got in here like go for a walk, have a coffee break, whatever, like what's the strategy. And I think that is a good Band-Aid solution initially, like going outside, number one, like someone who works online, if you're an online coach and you're doing check-ins, go the fuck outside. What? I say that because I don't sometimes, and it's fucking the worst. Move
Yeah.
Even if you don't train, I
moving
hate
is-
training in the morning. But go outside, I'll either play with my dog, walk around the backyard, or go for a walk. And we talked about like anxiety and burnout and all that kind of shit. All that fucking just disappears. It's magic.
Yeah, I think every 90 minutes, like I get up and just like move around.
Yeah. Have to. Then long term, employ that strategy. If you're frustrated, just move. Like expend the energy. Take the energy from anxiety or stress or whatever and put it into something else, even if it's like foam rolling or a walk or whatever. It doesn't have to be strenuous, just move. But like Jay said, long term, generally if you're frustrated with a client's behavior, you're taking it on to mean something about yourself. And it's like, I don't want to get into this woo-woo, like, now what are you making this mean about you?
Yeah, but it's like, I would argue
what are you making me about you? You know what I mean?
I was trying to think about it even when you were just speaking then. It's like, I don't think I've ever been that upset that it's affected the rest of my day in a check-in, because I haven't really taken it that personally ever.
I've sent a couple of check-ins that afterwards I'm like, well, that was rough. Kind of thought it afterwards and went,
right.
I hope not like, and the client was fine. It was just me, like, I was frustrated when I recorded that.
I don't think I've ever done a check-in and just been like,
definitely
like,
not.
like to the point where I've got to like check myself and like leave the house and stuff. I think that there's probably a time in my life where I may have done that. But I've, age and maturity now that I'm middle-aged. I'm very mature, but I've done a lot of work. I've done a lot of work on my controlling my emotions as well. Yeah. And I think that, like, there's probably more of that needs to be done than there is, like you said, those Band-Aid strategies. I think that it's like, don't take it personally, do your job, understand you've got a role to play, understand they've got a role to play. If they're not lining up, you just both need to do work. Yeah. Or if it happens regularly, just sack them. You don't want to get pissed off every week.
Or just like
long life, man.
Move your goalposts of what that expectation is.
Well, that's the other thing as well that we didn't actually think about. It's like, it's not just like there's something wrong with you. Maybe your expectations are just like way higher than what they need to be. So it's a lot of things to unpack there. But you should never be getting that upset that, like, in a check-in. Yeah.
I think trainers get really insecure that like things aren't moving as fast as they should.
Or people aren't doing what you want them to do, so then you think like that's a reflection on you. Like, there's a lot of it comes with experience as well. Like, at the start I like took it a bit more personally, that if someone didn't check in and stuff, like, oh, maybe it's shit, maybe the service isn't good, or maybe like this person isn't invested and stuff. And now I'm like, just look at things just totally differently.
I think learning the ability to put the responsibility back to the client, and that, like, I'm helping you with this thing. We're a team. I'm not telling you what to do, and having that
and you're
concept.
Not 100% responsible for everything as well.
It's like, how do I walk into this? How do I walk into this conversation with the best outcome for tomorrow? That's it. Like, I posted this morning, like, a client messaged me yesterday after watching my check-in and apologized because she was like, I'm a little bit frustrated with the speed of my results, and I was kind of, look, like, if we have a look at this data, we're missing this, and this, so we can't really go into a fat loss phase until we're actually continuously eating the same thing. Like, it's too variable for us to change anything right now. She's like, oh, I'm so sorry, I know it's my fault, blah, blah. I'm like, whoa. Like, I'm not your dad. You don't have to apologize to me. Like, you're killing it in the fucking gym. Yeah. Now, the number one thing that's missing is your protein intake. Yeah. If we do that this week, we win. If we don't, we'll keep working on strategies. Like, it makes no difference to me. Yeah. I'm not upset, and I'm not disappointed in you or upset with you or anything that you haven't done this. Yeah. Don't fucking apologize to me.
Yeah. And in a lot of cases, you've got the experience to manage a question in a situation like that. Yeah. If you're less experienced in coaching in general, like when someone's frustrated about their results, you're taking that as a shot. Yeah. And you're just like, going in on this person, you're not doing all this stuff where like, we can sit there and constructively be like, okay, well, if you're frustrated with your results, let's have a look at all of those areas that we need to work in to get you the outcome. You're doing really well here, but we're falling short here, here, and here. Yeah. So we need to work on these areas, and that will get us the outcome. Where a less experienced person is like, this person's calling me out. This person's taking shots at me and my method and how I'm doing this. And it's like, well, if you've got results at people, you obviously have the skill set to do it.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just you haven't found a way to get this person, or you guys together haven't found a way to show up in all the places that you need to.
And I think it's important, that anecdote, and I'm sure you have similar conversations with a percentage of your clients.
Yeah.
I think it's important to convey to the people that listen, because how often do we hear, I want better clients? It's like, we still have the same things.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if they're fucking competitors.
Don't
or
check
what,
in
it's the
or
same shit.
Yeah, 100%.
It doesn't matter like where they're at in their like journey, for lack of a better term, with training. Like, we still get these same kind of questions.
Yeah, agreed.
How to bounce back after you lose a heap of clients at once.
Get shit done.
Yeah.
That's a hard one. Like, there's two types of people. One person will bury their head in the sand and feel sorry for themselves, but still have the problem facing them, at some point. And then the other person looks at it and goes, well, how do I know how to get clients?
Yeah.
And they just fucking go and get it done,
Do the first 5 minutes as per my little messenger note this morning. Do 5 minutes of calls.
Yeah.
I know you're anxious about them. I know you don't want to do them, and you think that you thought you were beyond ever making phone calls ever again.
Yeah.
And you didn't want to have to do them again, but you do.
Yeah.
And no one else gives a fuck.
Yeah.
And no one else is going to pay your bills. Anyone who does care, it's like,
Agreed.
oh, you're still making phone calls. No one's ever going to think that other than the voice in your head.
Yeah.
And then also that voice in your head's not paying your bills.
Yeah. It's just like, this is a circumstance that's out of the ordinary, but you have to address it, and you're probably going to have to do something a little bit more, substantial as a response, to get yourself back to where you need to be.
Yeah.
So,
take a very short moment to assess if there was anything you could have done differently to prevent it from happening, and maybe make some changes moving forwards if there is.
Yeah, but just get after it.
And then the only other thing I would add to that is just like, be continuously seeking new business anyway.
Yeah.
So then it doesn't feel like starting again.
Yeah, I think it's got to happen to everybody. You got to get burnt once to understand that it can happen.
Yeah.
And I think it gets easier. Like, everyone's experienced it. Like, it's what happens now. Maybe 2-3 people drop off or whatever.
Yeah.
I think once everyone gets outside of their... So the one thing to understand is once everyone gets outside of their minimum term, it's kind of like borrowed time.
Yeah.
To a degree, it is.
Yeah.
It's like 14 days, they're gone. You know what I mean? Or whatever your notice period is. So it's like you kind of have to do what you just said, like keep the funnel open. Just keeping the funnel open a little bit. It's like, don't just be like, oh, I've got a full book. Like, I just won't do any form of like lead generation and exposure and marketing.
Yeah.
It's like, if you do that, we talk about it all the time. Like, momentum is just like so hard to get, so easy to lose.
Yeah.
And if you've lost, I don't know, what's the record? 12 sessions in a week or some shit.
Yeah.
You lose 12 sessions in a week and you got no momentum.
Yes.
Oof.
Yeah.
Like, that's taken you a long time to get those 12 back.
Yeah.
So take it as a lesson, get after things straight away, give yourself a moment to reflect and feel sorry for yourself.
Yeah.
But you got to respond, because the bank ain't saying like, hey, we'll just let you, we'll just take care of all your finances until you get yourself off your feet. Bills are bills.
Managing social media with a team, who does what, how to organize it. So this person I know has multiple trainers in their business, so I think they're talking about like, how do we show up as a team within that environment. The best success we've had is having a core page with a core message that's internally created by the brand, then diverting that out to the team, if that makes sense. So tagging them, so then the team can share it, and then you're associated with this professional ass looking place, and then the personality. Most of the success we've had has been associated with the personality of the trainer, built on top of the authority of the brand. So if you become an STCfit trainer, you have this huge authority layered under you of 12 years of results and resources and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Obviously, very well presented content, all of that. But the personality is the thing that draws them on top of that authority. So that core structure is providing that as a backbone for your team. How to get that made? I don't know if I could give advice on it, because it's so skill set dependent. Because there's nothing worse than being like, everyone's going to do a post a week, and there's 2 people that are really good at content and 2 people that suck at it.
Yeah.
Because it fucks the whole message. And then it's hard
Waste
to
of
be like,
time too.
you have to do it and you don't. Like, it's a hard. So I think we've had the most success bringing it internal and not getting other people to create it. But obviously we have the benefit of having Tam.
Yep.
Who's basically full-time with us.
Yeah.
If I look at all of the brands that are out there, there is a core page that has a core message, and then there's trainers that run profiles and leverage that. So you may have to take responsibility of that core page.
Yeah, I think that's the case.
Yeah.
Like you said, you just don't want to. Quality control is going to be hard, and message control is going to be hard. If you start to be like, oh well, we've got 3 trainers now, so you all need to do something on the main page. It's like it's going to be really hard to kind of have that continuity. Like you, if you want them involved, you're gonna have. I think the person who kind of is the managing director or whatever it is, they're still gonna have to have a little bit of influence on what is like how that content's created.
Yeah, for sure.
If they do want to involve those people.
So continuing down the social media line, if you have a small budget for marketing, what would you designate it towards? Ads or outsourcing to some content creation to free up time on your end, blah, 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 blah. Where would you go to outsource? So the first thing, because there was a follow-up to that, it was like with budgets and stuff. The first thing you need to understand about throwing money at content is if it's not working now, money won't fix it.
Yeah.
So your spend is to amplify the outcome. So let's say if I spend $1,000 over a 3-month period, I want to 3x my results on the back of that. For example, 3 times 0 is 0.
Yeah.
So if you have 0 inbound leads, you're getting 0 conversations, comments, you're not able to generate sales out of the content that you have right now.
Yes.
Don't spend any money.
Yeah.
Fix the thing. So then if you do have a budget, maybe outsourcing to someone that will help you create better content is a good idea.
Yeah.
If you're going to spend that money and invest it in that way.
Yeah.
But spending more money on stuff when it's not working now isn't the right way to go.
It's pretty good advice.
Yeah. So
I think getting an audit of your business would be good too.
Yeah, where the pitfalls are.
Yeah.
Okay, as online coaches, so this is all tying in, how do you go about periods where you'd like to increase your client numbers a little more than organically comes through? Do you change your strategy at all? So in that event, online coach, you do have a big drop-off. What do you do?
Yep. I haven't changed anything ever.
So I actually was thinking about this in the shower this morning. Sorry for the visuals. I was like kind of okay with where I'm at right now. We're transitioning into the app. I feel like I've been onboarding 400 people a week for like 6 weeks. So I'm like pretty happy with the amount of clients that I have at the moment. I got a couple sort of in the web, couple on suspension that are coming back. So I'm like, I'm pretty cool with where I'm at the moment. Maybe when I'm ready to add more on, maybe I'll think about like a little bit of an ad spend or whatever, just to kind of get things kind of bumping along again. Really all I change when I am like, okay, now I want clients is outreach.
Yeah.
So everyone that likes, interacts, comments, responds to a story, likes something, anything like that, gets a message.
Yep.
Go and follow up anyone that I've spoken to in the past. How's training? How's that injury? How's whatever? Follow everyone up. And that's the only strategy change that I make is actually start outreaching to people and stop waiting for them to come to me, because generally they won't. But a lot of people will be paying attention, and if you build the bridge for them, they'll cross it.
Yeah. It's a good one. I don't change the strategy at all. Yeah, because it's hard. Yeah. It's hard to like. I know there's going to be people out there that are like, oh, you got to do this and you got to do that, and that's fine. There probably is elements of success that lies within whatever they say. But if you just do the shit you need to do all the time, like I spoke about it the other day, it was like the perceived kind of high life of a small business and an online coach.
Yeah,
to get yourself off your feet, it's hard. To find clients, do all that stuff. I think to keep it running, there's even less people that can keep it running than who get themselves off their feet. And it's the constant showing up of, it's the mentality of like, I do and I get.
Yeah.
Doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Like Coca-Cola don't go, oh, we'll pay all this advertising and then we'll get all of this money. It's like, we've got to continuously be in the forefront of people's minds and sponsor all of these people and, be everywhere. And that is going to give us this return back. Yeah. It's probably a really poor example, but it's just like, that's essentially what a business is doing, is just like being in the forefront of people's attention on a regular basis, connecting with those people, solving their problems, having that person know exactly what you do and how you do it.
Yeah.
So then it's not an accident that, 1 week it's like, oh, I got 5 inquiries this week.
Yeah.
Because you're never going to, like, if you don't want the inquiries and you get 5 of them, you never wonder how you got the 5.
Yeah.
But then when you need more clients, you go, what do I need to do to get 5? Or what do I need to do to get more? What you need to do is what you need to do every week.
Yeah.
Because like at the end of the day, like it's the same mentality as the coach that like lost the 12 sessions in the gym.
Yeah.
It's like you wouldn't have a problem if you had people turning over. It's just that you stopped your outreach and you stopped your lead generation because you had enough people.
Yeah.
And if you just kept it going, you wouldn't have this issue.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's nothing wrong with like people wanting to come to you and you can't fit them in. Have something to help them at that time that's not the main core product that they wanted.
Yeah.
It's that's where having these like different levels of service and abilities to help people and stuff like that is super valuable. Like just because, we only take a certain amount of online clients face to face or like online, is it face to face online? One-on-one online? Doesn't mean that like I'm going to, once I get to that number, go, oh, I'm not going to work with you. It's like there's other things, like you can jump on a touch-free product. I've got someone who's probably finishing up in a month's time. Like we can just do that. Like you can do a monthly check-in for now. Like there's other things you can do. So if you just want to, like I think the power comes in the repetitive nature of what you should be doing.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And we've talked about, in the past, we used to call it like our 44-4-2 strategy.
Yeah.
So it's like 40 DMs a week, 4 posts, 4 stories, 2 calls to action.
Yeah.
When you're in a place of comfort and you're like, I don't necessarily want anyone new right now, or you're in a hot spot and people are just coming to you for whatever reason, you're just hitting the nail on the head and people are kind of coming directly to you, that 4-4-2 is still non-negotiable. Then when you need to or want to turn the dial up, the DMs come back in.
Yeah. I think you just need, you could amplify your exposure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's a little bit more deliberateness. But you
can amplify the amount of times you get into the forefront of people by paying for ad spend and outreach and stuff. But if whatever you're doing before that isn't working, like you said before, then it doesn't matter. Like, if you're only getting people trickling through here and there, like you probably need to look at your ecosystem and, there's probably more problems there than just like talking to people. Yeah,
I agree. All right, we better wrap it up because we're going up on 90 minutes. Tam's going to yell at us. It's a big one.
Yeah, that was good though.
But we have more questions, so we'll save them for the next episode.
That's really good. I like those Q&As.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah,
really good.
Just had to ask twice and we got great ones. Thanks for everyone that submitted
thanks for
them.
the contribution.
We didn't answer you today. We will next week and we will ask more. If you want to DM us on STCfit Learning on Instagram, feel free. We're happy to do more of these Q&A things. STCfitlearning.com/scorecard for your business scorecard to see where your business is at. Are you a standout PT or are you not? You'll get a 10-page report with resources on where to actually go to improve it. So we're not just going to say like, oh, it's good, looks good, doesn't look good. You're actually going to get tangible resources to go to then be able to apply to fix all of those areas. Or if you can't be fucked doing it all by yourself, you can apply for Standout PT. Awesome. Perfect. We'll see you guys next week.
Thanks, guys. Bye.